Hey traders, hello and welcome to another edition of the Crypto Lab with Alex, featured by Trading Analysis. I hope you're all well and good. So we are going to do our usual scan of the latest developments, a little bit of macro overview, and of course we're going to dive into a current wave structure on the Bitcoin, Ether, and some of the altcoins. Leave your questions in the chat box, and also if you want me to look some cryptos for you, you can also leave the symbol and the name in the chat box, and I will give my best to fulfill your requests. So let's start with a little bit of overview from the latest development from the Crypto Lab last week. We have been looking for a few scenarios to develop. One of them did. So I'm gonna start and open this Crypto Lab with this very kind of a shadowy news that we start this move on the upside. The news came out a couple of days ago with some inside information regarding Amazon acceptance of the cryptocurrencies, which is of course a big thing. The text by itself, as I was reading it the day it was published, is a little bit of shady, I must say. There is some nuances here that actually implies that Amazon is already ready for the acceptance of the cryptocurrencies in their payment systems, and also that they develop their own cryptocurrency. And all of that was based on insider talk, or as well one of the listings of Amazon for the job posting for a digital currency and a blockchain product. That was one of the initial drivers of the Bitcoin moving up a little bit below 30,000. And what we have 2 days afterwards, we actually have official denial that Amazon denies reports of accepting Bitcoin, and it was an official statement regarding the actual intention of this e-commerce giant that he is not ready still to accept cryptocurrencies, and this is not going to be probably unrolled in 2022 or maybe even in 2023. So they were not so specific on anything. So that also puts, of course, a big company will deny, but they would at least maybe give some hunches or something regarding the acceptance. Of course, it is normal if the blockchain adoption goes even by faster pace, that one of the giants of the e-commerce will look into that. That's not doubt about it, but this text regarding the inside information, I think it's a little bit shady, especially the wording and how it was put, and actually this news site which published it, it's not very known. So it puts a little bit of a doubt regarding, I'm not a fan of conspiracy theories, and I'm not implying that, but I'm just saying there is a little bit of a fishiness in all of this affair. So nevertheless, it produced the move up in price, and actually denial did not produce the move down. So is this a situation when you buy the rumor, sell the fact? We don't see that yet. So we're gonna dive into a price action a little bit later. But I just wanted to address this couple of events, which actually was one of the reasons for moving crypto prices, especially Bitcoin, on the upside. As regards of the regular news, we have International Monetary Fund or IMF kind of a bashing El Salvador for the and generally the crypto case. I'm not going to go into that. This will be the regular theme. I think in the next couple of years, maybe even a year ahead, and I'm not surprised of this government back and forth and all sorts of denial or kind of an acceptance and regulation. We also have seen Janet Yellen um, initiative to regulate Tether, and we have seen also the news regarding some possible bank frauds, but nothing actually came out as the result of that. So we are still waiting what the US as a regulator will done or will do on that front. So let me start also to look some of the things from the macro perspective. The Fed was yesterday, and we have seen, in my view, relatively, and one of the questions was actually asked in that manner. I was seeing unusually, relatively not, I will not say nervous, but I will say a little bit kind of a trembling voice of the Jerome Powell. The body language and the expression, how he tried to explain a transitory side effect of inflation, and actually the whole conference was a little bit of in line of the one of the latest questions posted by one of the journalists is actually the he noticed that body language and a little bit of a trembling voice, and he asked specifically about that. I don't think that Jerome Powell is relatively sure 100% or the Fed is sure what's going on, and if the inflation is going to be transitory. They kept this stance, and they said they discussed even further in a little bit more depth of a tapering program, but it's still not on. They want to see jobs data further climb, but they announced they didn't deny the nature of the inflation currently into the system, of course labeling it as transitory, and he explained um, this transitory term that they're using. So I would say that this gives me a little bit more question regarding the certainty of the Fed stance regarding inflation and how long it will be. Also, I think they are discussing relatively seriously how or on which front they will do a possible rate increase or a tapering. But I don't see it until the end of the year. We have also some of the COVID scare regarding Delta variants. Especially many countries are looking into the September through December, which is a normal kind of a flu season, but almost in the Western world, I would say 50%, 60% population is already vaccinated. So I think we will forward with that, and maybe in the June, July of 2022, we will be out of this COVID scare. Of course, the question of inflation remains. As we know, Fed is applying a longer-term average inflation now, which is a very broad inflation measure. So we cannot rely 100% on that to see these immediate effects, because it will take a couple of years that the average around 2% over the years, over the long run, is actually achieved. So the stock market reacted a little bit silently. I think that most of the participants are trying to kind of decipher this type of Jerome Powell speech yesterday, and we will see. We are also in the midst of the earnings season, which is going relatively good for tech companies. So this is a kind of a themes that we also look on this macro front. I will also um, show you some of the charts regarding the macro themes that we are tracking. Of course, this is the first one we track. It is the US 10-year yields. We held this level around 1.2 and then we still don't see any follow-up. If we break these levels and starts to form some type of a five-wave move, we can easily move this C wave, and maybe we were just in an ABC pullback and we see actually some of the deflationary forces even kicks a little bit more earlier. On the European front, ECB was very clear, and actually they add to a bond buying program. So our very well vocally expressed opinion for the last couple of months that this will be potentially a sideway to upside a move in price of the bond, and rates is moving lower because this is the price of the 10-year German Bund is clearly expressed in this triangle, and potentially when this is finished because of some even economical event, not necessarily inflationary event, we might see deflationary pressures and the further easing from the central banks in a year or two down the road. I'm just going to show you also US dollar, and I'm going to show you also gold, and then I will switch to cryptos. As we were looking last week, dollar index is moving lower. We marked this as a potential resistance levels. I will by no means for now label this as a fourth wave of this sequence because it is far bigger in time and in magnitude of this wave 2. We are searching for a type of a right look between these corrective pullbacks. And the only thing what we can do here is actually place this B wave down and then consider dollar moving lower, but I don't think that is the case. I think this was a small truncation. Let me just make it bigger for you. And then we will go down in A, up in B, down in C. This will last a couple of weeks, and then until the end of the year, November, December, we might see a further move up in this ABC possible. Even if we go some more complex, we will do X and then continue on the upside, but that will leave after this first zigzag is fulfilled. So for now, this scenario is playing out well, and we are just going to look for a corrective pullback before we continue to go higher. On the other front, lots of people are interested by gold. Gold is not doing much. I will just show you the gold chart. Various wave structures are possible here. We are maybe in some type of a bigger triangle or a complex corrective pullback. Anyhow, gold doesn't exhibit anything bullish on the upside yet, and I think with this dollar outlook and kind of a up and down in this inflationary deflationary scare, I think gold is expressing that very nicely by moving sideways, and I think it's going to stay that way until end of 2021, and it might even finish lower. So let me just look some of your questions, which I don't actually see. Can you guys type some type of a questions, or just say that um, stream is running good, or can you post also some of the crypto charts would you like me to see in the chat room? And we can also move forward and see what's going on the crypto side as well, if you like me to. Let me just look at where is my charts of the Bitcoin, and we can continue. I would like first to actually show you today a Bitcoin dominance chart, which did move a little bit more higher. I still consider that a kind of a sideways consolidation. I will explain you a little bit more in depth how do we treat from the Elliott wave perspective this type of retracements. Let me just look your comments, Lee. Hey, Lee, I'm not from Slovenia. I have a couple of buddies there, but I'm from Serbia. So we did win one gold medal in Taekwondo in a female category, and we are still in a couple. We did also in basketball 3-on-3 bronze, I think, and we have a couple of. We have also Novak Djokovic as a tennis player running for a gold in tennis, basketball, female basketball, and couple of other sports. So we are doing well for now. But anyhow, thank you. It's Serbia. It's not Slovenia. Wilson, hi Wilson. We will look that. Luka Doncic actually is from Slovenia. We have Nikola Jokic, who is from Serbia. Krill is asking Jota. Okay, we will look for Jota afterwards. Let me go and explain a little bit of this consolidation. Some type of wave patterns that we can see in Elliott wave can be a move up in A, some type of a triangulation in B and up in C, which will allow a little bit more upside and then reversal. RSI is pretty high now on this, and this usually corresponds. This is a daily chart with a possible reversal, so we don't see an impulsive structure yet forming on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So I will say that we are still in this type of a fourth wave, barely testing this resistance, which I was been looking for already a couple of weeks. And I will not consider this to be a further upside development. I think we are very close of a potential move down in a wave 5 following this large potential flat that is developing here. So this is in line with a wave 2 here, more or less. I would maybe like it to finish a little bit earlier, but of course we don't dictate market. We can just try to interpret them. And from that perspective, I still think this is clearly for now not an impulsive development on the upside. We have an impulse move down and then a sideways, which implies we are in A triangle B and up in C with a little bit more upside possible and then reversal. So let me switch to Bitcoin and our overall stance on a Bitcoin. As you know, we did showed last time, and I will show you that I posted that on a Twitter. We did showed last time one of the possibilities looking this B wave on the downside that the Bitcoin might move on the upside, and this was from the last week Crypto Lab. I don't give it much of a value. It's just a different combination of the waves. We could also did as proposed an ending diagonal. So I was not really, I will not say I nailed it because I have some other options. Basically, you can say you nailed it when this is your only option. I'm just saying that this was one of the options we offered on the table that Bitcoin might correct on the upside, and it did. So we are still going to continue our main scenario that actually we are still in some type of a corrective pullback in this fourth wave, possibly going down to this 20K. I'm going to show you, and I did show you last time, my reserve or a kind of a secondary wave count where we have a more bullish development. I don't want to be surprised by some sudden movement further on the upside. I want to be ready, and I want to be prepared with the possible wave counts as much as I can. But currently, as you can see, we are trading pretty much high on the RSI. It is not very good, especially when you look this wave structure here and this sharp move in the RSI on the upside. That sometimes can indicate that this move is just corrective. And if you look, we are still trading within our zone of a possible resistance from this 35 to 42, 43K. So this can be a 5-wave move down with the 335, which will be a flat correction. And then some type of a 5-wave move will actually confirm that. And then we will definitely know that we are going to continue on the downside. So this move doesn't prove nothing for now. If we are in a more bullish scenario, we have to do some changes regarding the position of the wave trees. We have to lift our target for next ratio, which is the 2618, which will be around 150, 180K. And we have to treat this as a intermediary wave tree flat. And in order to know a little bit with more probability that the Bitcoin is going to move further on the upside, we have to see clearly some type of a pure five-wave development on the upside. And if we have here some type of a double bottom, let's say this will be some type of a five-wave movement from here. This will be the end of this wave, actually wave 5. Maybe this was some type of a triangle, and then we need to see clearly a five-wave development and a three-wave pullback. And usually when you have a trend reversal, this move on the upside can go around 50, even 52K, and then we should see a three-wave pullback back to this 45, 42K, which will be actually signifying that the trend has changed, and this will be a reversal signature. To tell you honestly, I don't think this is going on. I might be wrong. This is my secondary case scenario. I still think this is just a correction and we're going to continue lower. That is my preferred wave count, but we have to be on guard, and I'm clearly saying which is my preferred scenario. So I'm not going to be very vocal about it, me being on the right side if this continues higher. I'm not looking at that. I'm just showing you a possibility. Definitely I would consider to be wrong if we start to push even higher, and then I'll have to switch to this secondary scenario. Anyhow, this secondary scenario will offer a three-wave pullback and a possible entry for the continuation of this trend on the upside. But I don't want to do that now. I don't have any reason to do that because I still don't see a five-wave sequence, and this is a very suspective, from the Elliott wave perspective, bottom here. And there is also a very strong resistance, as I showed you, around this level. So I'm clearly watching very carefully. I want to be on the right side, but I want to see a confirmation, because if this is a new trend, there is a long way on the upside reaching these targets. It will take even 6 years, 6 months, sorry, not 6 years. I apologize, 6 months. I don't think it will be that quick. We can complete this. So clearly this shows by some of the measurements in time that this might take some type of let's say until January, April 2022, and then we will then go into this fourth wave correction. So this is just an additional outlook, and I'm not just displaying this to cover, as they say, my ass. I'm just displaying a possibility for you that you might be also on guard if the Bitcoin starts some ramping move on the upside. On the Ether is the same thing. If we look the higher degree, we might still well be into this corrective pullback. Our major resistance levels are still not crossed, as you can see here. We are now testing one resistance. There is, from the resistance support perspective, another one around close to 3,000. I still would like to consider this to be some type of a B wave on the upside, and then I will expect a further development to the downside. This, of course, needs to be confirmed. This support has held well. Here, as you can see, secondary support comes around 1,220, which will be a floor for a possible wave 4. And 38% is around 1,100 and 1,220. And the time ratio is still not reached. We didn't even reach 0.618 from this time spent in wave 2. So if we want to consider this to be a reversal, we also have to correct our higher degree wave count. So what we need to do, we need to lift our target for this wave 3 a little bit higher and then demote actually and consider this still to be unfinished in some type of A, B, C, D, and E, even some triangulation is possible, but we have a small poke down here which will not agree with this one, and that cannot happen in a wave C, but sometimes this type of things just happens and you see the move on the upside, and it's in the case this is a small triangle, we will see some type of a 5-wave move development on the upside, which still might not be finished, and then a pullback in 3 waves. So I guess this 3-wave pullback will be the key if we're going to continue higher, most likely. Just be very cognizant and watch potentially this type of development. With our members, actually, we have a nice membership. Trading Analysis has extensive coverage of crypto currencies. You can join us for a trial. A very nice and knowledgeable group in Discord. We also have a repository. Trial is, I think, 27 bucks. We also have a crypto trading desk. We are one of the rare companies which we do this professionally and also offer sometimes specific trade alerts. And also we have an extensive members webinar analysis and all of what one service on a professional basis should have. So check us out if you like. I would like to go back and just show you some cryptos on the altcoin side. And I said also with our members that I have seen some cryptos reaching some key support levels. For example, this Kusama reached equality after a potential 5-wave move. ABC also came exactly to equality. And we are within the range of the possible wave 2. Also Luna, I still don't think this is complete. It doesn't look impulsive, so I'm not going to be jumping on this one yet. Matic also is doing something particularly interesting because we have seen equality between potential WXY, as you can see here, and there is a 5-wave move advance above this channel. So potentially we might have some exposure on this wave 2 pullback, and we might see a wave 1 of the higher degree trend developing. So I'm seeing some notions or some developments in some cryptos. Also, this Uniswap can be actually interpreted as a finished triangle. So some of these cryptos put me actually in consideration that we might be completed and that we will not see a further move lower. Of course, there is not much of them, because if you see some of them also like ADA, ADA is still not completed its potential correction. It is holding very nicely this support level, but these moves can still be interpreted as a possible ABC, and we might see a little bit lower level. But in my book, from these levels or a little bit lower, ADA is definitely one candidate for a relatively big push on the upside. Also, Polkadot, very suspicious. We possibly can count 5 waves down in both of these sequences. It didn't reach equality. I will add a few possibilities here if we fail, but for now I'm just kind of watching it and looking what it's doing. Some of the others, for example, if you look, Atom is clearly in a sideways consolidation, which might be a B-wave triangle, and we might continue lower. There is also a number of others like Aave, which didn't show us clearly, and that correction is over. We can consider this to be end of the wave 2, but we still didn't see anything in a 5-wave sequence up to here, and some pullbacks. So we can consider this still to be a sideways consolidation. So I'm seeing in the space some of them potentially finished, some of them are still not completed. So I don't want to rush into any conclusion. I really consider SushiSwap also doesn't exhibit anything so bullish. So I will kind of take a neutral stance for this week, especially looking at this Bitcoin chart. So we also have some clear, very strong resistance levels in the Bitcoin chart. So I don't want to be vocal regarding, I think that the market is back to a neutral stance for now between bulls and bears. And I want to see some confirmation on either side before I'm going to take a firm position. Are we going to continue lower or are we going to continue higher? So that is a relatively short, not short, but I will say mid-short update on some of the cryptos. I also don't see Solana completing this correction as well, because it's a sideways price move. Let's take a little bit more neutral stance and wait the market to tell us, and not rush with a conclusion that we might be in a trend reversal. I don't want to make this statement yet. Okay. Okay, so let me look. What is your requests? Okay, so we have Wilson. He wants me to see AXS. Can you just keep it to one, guys? Two, it's going to be from one of us a little bit long. Okay, so we have seen this move on the upside. Actually, this can be interpreted in several sides. This could be a completed five-wave sequence and we move down. We don't see a sign. But anyhow, if this is something more bullish in a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we should still see some type of a corrective pullback here. So watch out. First, this support level, and secondly, this support level. On this, I think five-wave sequence might be done, and we might see some type of a pullback here, okay, on this one. Even if you go on a smaller time frame, you can see that some of the sequence potentially is done, as you can see here. So be on guard what is going on there. So I'm still gonna treat this as a relatively bullish potential, but I want to see some clear pullbacks, and I want to see in how many steps it will be made. I know there is a craze about this one, and we are watching it. We have some members trading this on a smaller time frames. I don't like to trade this in a counter trend move because this is a very strong advance until I see some confirmation that there is a five-wave move down, and then a pullback is shortable for this support. So I don't want to take a firm stance, but I still think that we are going to see some type of a corrective pullback to these support levels. I didn't see IOTA for a long time, so let me see what's going on IOTA. We left this who knows when with this possible fourth wave pullback. And it's still possible we are in this type of a pullback. We didn't invalidate this wave one here, as you can see clearly. So if we go on a smaller time frame, IOTA also looks like some type of an ABC, XABC. So we need the confirmation, okay? So guys, if we want to put IOTA in this fifth wave on the upside, we need to see five waves up and a correction, and then the risk will be smaller if we are wrong. Our exposure will be relatively very small if this collapses and goes further on the downside. So I would say also a possibility that we might meander a little bit in a sideway and then go up. So this is not enough to conclude. And I don't know why people are so focused to catch the lows. Even I see that tendency with some of my members, and I really cannot get that. I mean, before I was also into that, but long time before. So there is so many opportunities on the upside if this proves to be um, all of the way forward. So I think there is time, but everybody somehow tries um, to capture the lows. So it is some tendency in human nature, I think. Okay, so let me look for. Hello, Oleg. What's up, William? What's up, Bao? Okay, let's look at Bao. Yeah, Bao is 5 waves up, 3-wave pullback, so it's possibly it's done. As you can see here, so if we go on a higher time frame, of course there is no guarantees, but definitely you can consider this to be a 5-wave move and a 3-wave pullback. And this looks like it starts to develop in a 5-wave manner. So usually how we treat this, if this doesn't turn to be something in more of a complex correction, we usually treat this as a wave A down in B and up in C until it proves that it is a third wave and it's continue, and then we actually anchor the final wave 2 and consider this to be a further continuation on the upside. So it's looking good now. From this perspective, the parallel channel of the corrective line, it's clearly taken, as you can see here. So 5-wave move might finish a little bit more on the upside. There is a resistance coming down in this zone here. So maybe a little bit more potential, and then I will look for a pullback and potential. You can explore this because maybe we're going to see um, at least a 3-wave move pullback. So it's looking good. I will consider this as a relatively solid chart. If we go even on a smaller time frame, this is clearly impulsive. There is no overlaps. We have a nice 1-2, very clear, distinctive 5 waves up in a wave 3, consolidation in a wave 4. So I think even on a smaller time frame, we can dissect this sequence as a clearly some type of a 5-wave move, which will complete very soon. Okay, so it's looking good from this perspective. Engine coin potentially is done. I still don't have a confirmation, but I have one pattern, which is a triangle. So engine coin needs to prove me a reversal, and out of this triangle box, if I don't see that, I will have to extend a little bit this in a W, possible triangle in X, and a little bit more downside. But the time now is still allowing more sideways correction. But anyhow, if I see a 5 waves up above this triangle, I will consider a pullback viable from engine coin. So it's still sideways consolidation. We can put a triangle here, but we still cannot measure the probability that this is exactly 100%. Okay, it's looking good for now. I just need a confirmation and a breakout of this sideways range. Hi, Igor. NXT, Adnan, yes. Let's look NXT. I don't think I have that one here. Whoa. Well, this doesn't look so good, I must say. I will look the whole chart. So, poof. Yeah, this one looks like a 3-wave reversal. This can also turn into a triangle, but it doesn't look to me um, as anything bullish here is existing yet. There is a clearly a 5-wave move down and a 3-wave pullback, which can actually turn into a triangle, or it can just do a small pullback and continue higher. So it doesn't vibrate for some type of a bullish outcome yet. So we don't see that. Okay, so be careful if you're exposed on the bullish side for a possible small break below this. But the overall structure looks like a three-wave up and then 5 waves down. I don't think this is a big flat because, well, I mean, in cryptos you can see everything. So it also might be that. I will just enlarge the picture. Sorry. And then we need to see something more stronger on the upside here. Otherwise, this reversal looks very sideways to bearish to me. We tried to move on the upside, but failed and failed very drastically to rally. Okay, so it means that the bear hand it still has an upper hand in this battle, I would say. AVAX, yeah, okay, let's look AVAX. Well, yeah, 5 waves up, 3 waves pullback, potentially over. Doesn't look so bad for now. Okay, so there is a tendency that we hold these levels. We can consider this to be 5 ways down in A, up in B, down in C. So this can be some type of lows. We need to see clearly a development on the upside. Otherwise, if this starts to move a little bit lower, it can be some type of an ABC, X, ABC. So we finish around 6-5 zone and then we go on the upside. So this still needs really to prove itself. I mean, this chart obviously is going to increase in a probability, but we still don't see a clear 5 ways on the upside. Okay. So for now, you can just consider this correction, even reaching some type of levels above this resistance zone we have here. That will be necessary, and even upper and then a pullback to confirm a potential reversal. What is that? Billy, a new crypto stock. Okay, let's look a new crypto stock. We have to go on a trading view for that. This is the one? Can you confirm, Michael? Okay, thanks. Well, situation here is relatively clear. You can see a very nice developing pattern here in a wave 3. So this is some type of a wave 4. It might be over. RSI is pretty much on the downside. Or it still can develop some type of a sideways correction in a triangle and then continue higher. But it's a good looking chart. Definitely for the further bullishness when this correction is over. You can also say that this is a wave A, some type of a wave C, ABC in flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe a little bit more downside, and then, but in general, this is this type of charts we treat as a bullish one. Okay, so there is one correction, there is clearly a 5-wave development in a wave 3, and there is a second correction pretty much distinct. We don't have any of the Elliott wave rule violation. Actually, this is should be a very bullish chart for the potential wave 5 on the upside. Okay, guys, so thank you once more for being with us. The overall conclusion is in general that market moved in a neutral stance. I said that the macro environment is a little bit tricky. I don't know how investors will actually deal with this Jerome Powell narrative and what we have seen yesterday. Any potential move down in stocks might reflect into cryptos. So we will see that. In the next couple of days, of course, earnings are one of the big themes for the stock market. Also, COVID scare can be beneficial if in September, October, central banks actually back down with these inflationary themes, which will be, I think, beneficial for gold and Bitcoin. So in general, in my perspective, from the clients of the trading analysis, we will uh, move to a neutral stance with a slight bearish tilt for this possible flat. And I'm also looking these developments in Matic and a few others for potential small longs. I will again stress that I didn't find this news about Amazon very appealing, a very fishy thing to happen. But as you know, crypto markets are new, and there has been the cases. Some of the famous guys um, have been moving the market on some statements. So that's, but it's unregulated place. So um, that's how it is. We have to deal with it. So thank you very much on the likes. So we need the like button. So subscribe and hit the like button to value a little bit our effort. And see you next week, guys. Crypto Lab on the same place. Will be present with you for a couple of more weeks. Maybe I'm gonna take a small vacation, but anyhow, I will be able to do Crypto Lab even from there. So we will not stop the broadcast. If you want to check us out, check Trading Analysis and trade carefully. So see you next week and bye bye.